So this is the poster board that I'm going to be using in my lesson when I teach the students. And so before I explain it, I'm going to show the connections with each of the pictures. So each picture goes with one of the 5 sight words that I've been teaching the students, and the sight words were based to help them reach the standard K.5D, which talks about a student demonstrating and understanding that print conveys meaning, and that they would know and understand commonly used high frequency words, which those would be the sight words. And so throughout my lesson, like my PowerPoint and the activities I'm doing, and just flashcards I made for the students, each of these pictures is associated with one of the sight words and used kind of as the definition, so this way students don't necessarily have to know like the verbiage that defines the word, but so they know and have an idea of the picture in their head, and they don't have to worry about reading so much as like reading the definition, and they can focus more on reading the sight word. So the way this would work, I would give each one of these little clips has the 5 sight words on them, and each table would get this group of 5, and there's about 4 students at each table, and the table would work together to figure out where each sight word goes in the poster here, and the tables would come up one at a time and put each word in. So I'll just go ahead and show you each word. So the first word we have is let, and so this one we would put inside this pocket here, inside that pocket there, because we have somebody letting someone go in front of them, and that represents the word let. The next one we have is put, and so this little girl here is putting the book back, and so we put that one in put. Then the next word we have is ask, and so we have a student here raising their hand with question marks all around them, asking the question, so that would go in ask. And then we have from, and for that one I chose a letter because you get a letter from someone, and so they would put the from card in there. And then we have stop, and for stop we have our little stop sign over here, or someone telling you stop, not to cross the street. And so that's how they would do it, and it would go one table at a time. And I made some extras in case something happens or there's an extra table that gets set up for whatever reason that might be. And so the students will go through and put it in each pocket, and we go one table at a time. And this would get the students to have an opportunity to talk about the words with each other, figure out what the words mean. And because there's about 4 to 5 students per table, each student would get to put one in a pocket. So the way I made this was, first I went and collected some newspapers from on campus at Liberty, the free newspapers, and I took some Mod Podge and I glued them to the poster for the background. And the reason I did that was because I wanted the students to kind of get like subconsciously an idea of where they would see the sight words, which one way would be in the newspaper, so they can see, oh, this is a real thing, like we actually do use these sight words and other sight words that we've been learning. So that's how I did the background. And then to make each of these pockets, I took a regular folder and then I cut it down so it looked like it was like a wallet kind of, and it was smaller, and so it had these flaps. And then from that I just cut those in half. And then for this one, it was the same as these, only I just cut this off so it didn't have the flap, and this is just so it's the pocket for that. And then for each of the images I found on the internet, and I kind of searched for ones that I thought would be easiest and best represent the words. And then I wrote up the directions, which is very basic and straightforward, match the sight word to its picture, because throughout the whole lesson we will have talked about the sight word and the picture it's associated with and why it's associated with that picture and all that and the meaning. So then I glued those down again with Mod Podge, and then I took a Sharpie and tried to outline it because I thought it would help them to stand out more and just emphasize it more to the students, so this way they don't get too confused with the backgrounds or anything like that, because I thought I liked the background, but at the same time I thought it might be a little hard, so I tried to choose like bright colors as opposed to like the more dull colors that are usually in newspapers. And then for our sight words, I just went to the curriculum library and used the cutting machine and got the words out of it. And the reason there's only 5 is because there were 5 sight words I was given, and also because like that's a lot for a kindergartner to learn more than just the 5 sight words at a time, and they will have been working on it pretty hard at this point. And that is how I did all of that. I also, for the letter cards, I went and printed them off, and then I took them to the curriculum library and had them laminate them. And that is how I made my poster and how I plan to use it in my lesson.